So Peacemaker Season 2 just finished, and I don't think I liked it very much. And I'm mad. You see, a few days before the finale dropped, I tweeted that I had problems with this season, and you knuckleheads called me a contrarian. I can't even beat the contrarian allegations when I'm right, because once the finale dropped, the amount of people who switched up on this show was shocking. A few days before that finale, people were calling me a contrarian, and after the finale, people said I'm agreeing with what everybody else is saying. I can't fucking win! All of a sudden, I saw people saying, you know what? This story was pointless, and I'm actually sick of James Gunn's little music fixation. Like, are we serious? The story was already spinning its wheels. The music didn't ramp up in just the last episode. These problems were already there. When I went into the show, everybody was saying it was better than the first season, and I wasn't really that high on the first season. It eventually grew on me, but I was kinda tired of James Gunn's humor, and the majority of the characters kinda pissed me off. But I still expected this season to be a little different. I mean, there's a bigger focus on the larger DC universe that James Gunn set up in Superman, and I don't know, I guess I just thought he wouldn't bother making a second season unless he really had something to say. But by the end of this show, I kinda struggle to see why this was made. I don't really fully understand the intent. Now, I'm not saying it was pointless. I am saying I think he didn't succeed at showing us what he was going for. The closest thing I can see is that James Gunn wants to give emotional closure to these characters, and that's nice. But I don't really care about most of these characters. Like, the entire series kind of builds up to this big therapy session with all the characters in the last episode, and I think that all of this worked for me. People think that everyone who's criticizing this show is just mad that the finale doesn't have cameos and action scenes. I don't give a fuck about that stuff. I like that the last chunk of the finale just has the characters earning their brighter future. It's really cute. It's the only point in the show where I can see a clear intent. But this is really the only spot where I can confidently say that. The rest of the show's kind of just spinning its wheels to try and get to this scene. There are a lot of plot threads that simply are not interesting, or ones that are wrapped up in an unsatisfying way or dropped entirely, and most of them aren't really that related to the main character. There are wide chunks of this show where I forgot Peacemaker was supposed to be the main character, and that really wouldn't be a problem if I didn't hate so many of the other characters. Maybe hate is a strong word. At worst, they're kind of insufferable, and most of the time they're just irksome. Tim Meadows is kind of just doing unfunny improv the whole time. Rick Flag Sr. has absolutely no charisma whatsoever. And the government cyborg lady is putting on such a bad performance that I honestly have no idea how she ended up on the show.
For the next few hours. First, we kill the bird.
And any other eagle in the vicinity?
No, just the bird in the house.
It might not help that I think I'm sick of James Gunn's misfit family dynamic, because it's easy to see a lot of patterns with the way he writes characters. We have the plucky, lovable dork who likes classic music and has daddy issues. The edgelord love interest that he can't seem to settle down with, even if he's slowly thawing her cold heart. We have the guy who says he doesn't want to be there, but he really does want to be there because this is the only family he has. There's also the funny wild card, ooh, who knows what they're gonna say or do next. And of course, we can't forget the cute and wacky mascot character. It doesn't matter how well any of these people are written, I'm gonna subconsciously compare them to other characters that I've already been exposed to by the same guy. Especially when their dynamics are so similar and so many of them are just more annoying here. Like, I personally cannot fucking stand Economos, or whatever the fuck his name is. This guy, I hate him. I was devastated to see how much more screen time he gets in this season. He represents the worst aspects of this show for me. The constant unfunny improv, the bad acting, the cringe dialogue. And when he's around, he reduces the quality of the scene by like 40%. The characters in the show simply will not stop quipping and cursing at each other. There are probably more cringe swears per minute in this show than in the new season of South Park.
Shit, Ginger Cool, you are hardcore.
Hey, fuck you too, asshole!
Oh, shit.
See, I don't mind swearing if it makes sense in the context of the story and if it makes sense for the character. But why is Lex Luthor saying this?
Meanwhile, I'm here in Belle Reve, listening to a bear-sized man with dragon skin, butt-fucking a glowing twink with cartoon eyes in a cell beside me every night.
I don't think he'd say that. Everybody in the show talks the same. I found this to be especially annoying with Adebayo's character in this season. She feels kind of mishandled in 90% of the show because her personal subplot is kind of ignored until the last episode. In this season, her entire character just exists to help Peacemaker. This is also a problem because Danielle Brooks' performance is really inconsistent here. Like a lot of the other characters, she's just kind of saying the dialogue verbatim. She never convinces me that she is embodying a character who believes the things they are saying. This is some of the most wooden, lifeless line delivery, and it's like this all the time.
Athlete's Foot is hiring?
Maybe.
Follow-up question, does Athlete's Foot still exist?
Yes, there's one in the Terrytown Mall.
That's comforting.
Most of the characters have this problem, except for Peacemaker, Harcourt, and probably Vigilante. Peacemaker is the best character in the show, easily. He's consistent, his story and dialogue fit the character, and John Cena is putting all of his effort into making the character believable. If anything, I would like more Peacemaker in the Peacemaker show. Jennifer Holland is also kind of underrated here. Her character can be kind of annoying with how much of an edgelord she is, but it's never to the point where it goes too far. I can usually understand why she acts the way she does. Her intentions do make sense to me, but where her performance really shines is when she portrays the alternate universe Harcourt. This really has been the year of an actor playing two versions of the same character, and I think she does the best job of it in this show. Both Harcourts are so different, and it elevates her status in the show for me. And Vigilante, of course, is the only character that is actually consistently funny.
Are you fucking kidding me?
This is probably because he isn't really in the show very much. He doesn't have much to do. And that might be why he doesn't get on my nerves like a lot of the other characters do. See, because it's easy to say that some jokes are funny and some jokes aren't. Of course, humor is subjective. It's hard to explain why other gun projects are fine for me, but this show particularly pisses me off. For me, I think it's that his writing is better in bursts. The pacing of a movie suits his writing better because he's forced to space out his comedic scenes and intercut them with poignant emotional scenes. Before the season dropped, I rewatched his Suicide Squad sequel, and I noticed that between the occasional exposition, plot development, and character moments for the giant cast, the humor doesn't have time to get annoying. There's so much happening, so even when a joke falls flat, the movie just moves on. The writing just works better when it's given the constraint of a film's limited runtime. Most of these episodes are around like 30 minutes long, but they felt much longer, to me at least, because the dialogue just drags. The jokes get brought back in every episode, so if you didn't think it was funny the first time, you're definitely not going to think it's funny in 5 more episodes. Like, Tim Meadows is a really funny guy, but the bird blindness joke just did not land for me. So, it really wasn't funny in the following episode, or the episode after that. And this was a problem I had with season 1, so I kind of expected it to be present here, but I was hoping it wasn't. What I really didn't expect was an imbalanced story to go along with the bad jokes. The plot is kind of all over the place, and it's only interesting about 20% of the time. See, the allure of this season is that it introduces a twisted alternate world where Peacemaker is a hero. But this world has a dark little secret. And you'd think that this is going to be more important, but it feels like the entire alternate world subplot is just kind of wasted potential. They don't spend much time there, and once they leave, it is never brought up again. It's the most interesting part of the show, and it's just kind of used to give Peacemaker a little bit of emotional conflict that he quickly gets over in the last episode, because the last episode spends more time on setting up a Superman sequel than it does giving our main character anything to really do. In 2 years, when Superman 2 comes out, maybe I'll forget that this stuff was set up in a very unsatisfying way. I mean, hell, I'll probably forget everything about this show by then. But today, I'm annoyed that I spent time watching this messy story. Because I am a James Gunn truther. I think that even if this show was a miss for me, I like this wacky, strange superhero world that he created. And I do like his superhero movies a lot. I think his stories can be so charming when they're done well. And when his writing works, it makes your heart feel real good. But I did not feel that way in this show. It sadly kind of overdosed me on his style. Normally when he throws in too much music and writes corny jokes, I don't mind. But here, I kind of did mind. And I think that's a sign that we might need to spend some time apart for a little while. Sorry, Jimmy. I'll see you again in 2027 when I've forgotten about this show. For now, I'm giving Peacemaker Season 2 a 5 out of 10.